Leaders, I believe, no, I don't even believe, I know in my soul that God brought me to obsessively study XRP and Ripple because they are an integral part of this new digital financial system. And there's nothing I can say on this video that can convey almost 6 years of daily research and conviction. I wish I could give you the conviction I have. And that's why I make posts about pretty much only XRP. I talk about other investments I have, but I put my money where my mouth is. I have over 60% of our net worth in XRP because I know where it's going. I don't have a crystal ball of when or how it's all going to happen, but everything tells me it is a core part of what's coming. Now, without further ado, I have the highest respect for my man, Nick. He's the owner and founder of Bull Runners. I posted a video of him before that went absolutely viral. This is another one of those tinfoil hat Conspiracy Friday videos. Welcome to Conspiracy Friday, by the way. It's worth your time, and it's worth your time to watch the full hour clip. Obviously, I have to condense an hour into 15 or so minutes, so I hope you get a lot out of the following video. And I love you guys so much. Please, from my heart to yours, humble yourself, investigate even a little bit into what XRP is, use discernment, and don't take anything I say or anyone says for gospel. Always do your own research.
What if the most powerful technology ever created wasn't a weapon? What if it was a time travel device the government has been hiding, showing an inevitable future outcome that nobody can escape from? Well, in 1889, a man named Ingersoll Lockwood wrote a children's book about a wealthy boy named Baron Trump who lived in Castle Trump and traveled throughout time under the guidance of a master named Don. And 130 years later, Donald Trump, well, his nickname is the Don, becomes the 45th and 47th president of the United States. And his son's name? Baron Trump. So, is this just a coincidence, or is it a leak to a time travel technology the government has been hiding for decades? Well, in this video, we're diving deep down the rabbit hole, showing you the technology that may have made all of this possible. And it's called Project Looking Glass. A device so powerful yet so terrifying that when the world's elite looked through it, they panicked. They tried to rewrite the script with pandemics, manufactured chaos, because no matter what they tried, no matter what decisions they made, what wars they started, what systems they built, every single timeline of the future led to the same inevitable outcome. And that outcome, it's happening right now. The Looking Glass didn't just see a date, it saw a mathematical bottleneck where the old world debt can no longer be processed and the collision is scheduled into the very architecture of the new banking system. No more shadows pulling the strings from behind the curtains, only light flooding in and consciousness rising, and their empire is crumbling under the weight of truth they could no longer suppress. The device didn't just predict the future, it confirmed their worst fear, that the game was already over. They accelerated everything, pandemics, chaos, division, to delay the inevitable, but the bottleneck was tightening and timelines were merging. And now, in this very moment, as the old world fractures and the new one emerges, we're living through the final act that they desperately have been trying to rewrite, the Great Reset. But before we go down the rabbit hole in this video, you need to understand what Project Looking Glass actually is. And I'm not talking about theory here, I'm talking about documented testimony from military insiders who risked everything to tell the world what they saw.
The name, I would say, it's the awakening process. It's an evolution of consciousness that cannot, will not, and no matter what decisions or possibilities are injected into the equation, eventually it all resolves down to us all learning the truth and becoming aware of this massive dam of lies that has been built that keep us from knowing massive volume of information that we should otherwise possess.
And according to multiple whistleblowers, a man named Dan Burish, who worked at a facility 12 miles south of Area 51 in Nevada on level 4 of the S4 complex, Project Looking Glass was a technology built in underground bases, they say, that allowed its operators to view events across time, not to predict the future, but to view it. So here's how it works. The device itself was colossal in size, built in an underground base several stories tall. And when activated, massive concentric rings made of a dark non-reflective alloy would begin to spin in opposite directions, creating a localized gravitational field. And inside the device was a barrel of water, which according to the whistleblowers, functioned similarly to how the human pineal gland would. So when the water flipped over into what they called time space, it would capture argon gas and produce visual images. Now, what appeared was a window into other timelines, other possibilities, other futures. The Looking Glass whistleblowers revealed a terrifying truth as well. The elite saw what they called a whiteout, a point where the old debt-based system mathematically hit a dead end. And they didn't use this tech for curiosity. They used it to map out the one transition that allowed them to migrate their power before the old world's ledger was wiped clean. They found the exit door, and it's a decentralized one. The most compelling testimony about Project Looking Glass comes from a man named Bill Wood, also known as Bill Brockbrader. Wood was a Navy SEAL who claimed to have worked on classified projects involving future viewing technology. And in 2012, in an interview with Project Camelot, he said something that stopped the world cold.
All the possibilities of all the future scenarios of any choice, any possibility that was fed in and observed through the Looking Glass inherently ended up in the same future. And no decision, no possibility changed past a certain point. That's the big secret. The people that know everything about Looking Glass, that have gotten all the reports and all the information, the elites of the world, probably figured out that that was the end of the game. Nothing could be manipulated beyond that point. At a certain point, after they're done hearing the computer tell them, this is what's going to happen over and over and over and over again, all they become focused on is, how do we fix it?
So the question isn't if it ends their reign, it's how fast can you wake up and claim what's already been yours. And XRP, the specific digital asset the elite have been suppressing for years, is the mathematical key to this entire transition. But most people are holding it completely wrong. They're waiting for the price to pump, while the elite are preparing to use it as an operating system. And according to multiple sources, including the Guardians of the Looking Glass, a group of former intelligence officers who released classified information, there were two possible outcomes by 2030. Outcome number one is a descent into chaos, nuclear war, and a total dark age, much like what's depicted in The Simpsons in Treehouse of Horror. They've also predicted Donald Trump's assassination and other chaotic things as well that they are trying to show us to force those outcomes. Or outcome number two, the Great Awakening, the current order being dismantled and humanity stepping into a new era of sovereignty. And here is the secret that keeps the elite up at night. The positive timeline, it's winning. No matter what they tried, no matter what they manufactured through pandemics, financial suppression, or digital censorship, the awakening process cannot be stopped. It's a mathematical convergence. And so we're moving into a new era where the old guard has no control of the outcome. The convergence is happening right now, and a lot of people are saying that XRP is the financial instrument designed to handle the bandwidth of the new reality. Why does XRP keep showing up? Why not Bitcoin? Why not Ethereum? And why does the COMEX, which is the exchange that manages the world's gold and silver, have COMEX Rule 589? It's a volatility circuit breaker. It was designed to freeze the market when the price moves too fast for the old system to handle. They didn't just pick a random number. They picked the code for the liquidity bridge that is meant to absorb that volatility when the paper gold market finally breaks. The same markets that are showing a historic supply shock right now. And why did the bearable guy, the mysterious XRP insider who has been dropping 589 coded riddles for years, put exactly 5 gold buttons, 8 purple buttons, and 9 green buttons on the control panel in his latest riddle next to the 589 marble statue? Why is 2026 such a major year? Why is there massive war news, Epstein news, declassified information? You name it, everything is converging. It's not just a hunch here, guys. It's a deadline written into the architecture of the global banking system and the universe itself. This plan has been in motion for decades. In 1994, Elon interned at Rocket Science Games, one of the largest gaming companies of all time, and the gaming program was called Lodestar. Now, if you look at the Bearable Guy's bio on Twitter, which is now called X.com, I know I keep calling it Twitter, but it contains 3 links: Lodestar 1, Lodestar 2, and Lodestar 3. The evidence is hidden in the numbers. Look at the Bear's control panel. Exactly 5 gold buttons, 8 purple buttons, 9 green buttons, next to the 589 marble statue. This is the code for the global reset. The XRP flag is planted on the moon. The mission is no longer in doubt. The Bear's eyes are now locked onto one thing, and that's the switch.
Like, people use this expression, like, flip the switch. And I promise you, if I had a magic switch to flip, I would have switched. Like, I would have done that a long time ago. Like, what I said at the XRP Community Day, which I then retweeted, somebody summarized it, was that there's not one switch. There's 100 switches. There's 1,000 switches. And it's all of these little switches. 100%. And bit by bit by bit, until it really does, I think, have an exponential impact.
So for investors that are just waiting for one magic switch to be flipped in order for XRP's price to go up, there are hundreds or even thousands of switches that need to be flipped. And one by one, they keep flipping them during this great reset process. And the North Star at the top of the Christmas tree here, if you've wondered what that is, well, you have to understand the symbolism here to get the bigger picture of the message. In the ancient text, the North Star wasn't just a light, it was a guide for the wise men to find the birthplace of a new era. And today, XRP has been called the North Star of Ripple by Brad Garlinghouse. It's the beacon guiding the central banks, the IMF, and the world's elite to the birthplace of the quantum economy. In every riddle the Bearable Guy has dropped over the years, his teeth have been disappearing one by one, which is basically a countdown hidden in plain sight. 4, 3, 2, 1. And this final image right here, there's only one tooth left, signaling by Christmas Eve at the end of this year, we will be at 0. Now here's the part that the elite fear most. It's not the financial reset. It's not a new payment rails being built. It's not even XRP. What they feared most was the awakening, because here's what the looking glass actually showed. The inevitable outcome isn't just a financial reset, it's an evolution of human consciousness, a shift that cannot be stopped by any digital prison or manufactured distraction. And the whistleblowers revealed that our collective consciousness actually dictates the timeline. And the positive timeline, the one where the current order is dismantled and humanity is set free, is currently winning right now. Think about the chess analogy. Imagine 2 master players. One looks down and sees a checkmate in 7 move. The other player looks down and sees the exact same move, knowing they lost the game. So both players know that the game is already over. The loser is just trying to prolong the inevitable by stalling. The bad guys, they've already lost. The good guys have already won. But there's still moves left on the board, and those moves are the distractions, the volatility, the fear, the disclosures, everything coming to light right now. So the spectators of the game, people like you that are watching the video, are now starting to realize that the plot of this movie is like every single other movie that Hollywood has ever made. The good guys always end up coming out on top. But there's still moves left on the board, and those moves are the stalling tactic of the player who knows their time is up because they're afraid of the inevitable outcome. And you've seen the same story play out over and over and over again in every movie. The good guys always win in the end, and it's God's game to win. The only way checkmate doesn't happen is if the winning player makes a mistake, and that mistake is you letting the fear take you out of the game before the final move. Listen, the awakening, it's inevitable. The reset, it's inevitable. And 2026 is the year it all becomes undeniable. You don't need to fight the system. You just need to outlast the elite scare tactics. You need to be positioned so that when the old board is flipped and the game is over, you aren't wiped out by making the wrong move. You're one winning move away from stepping into an era of abundance.